put those cameras on. Let me see you beautiful people. Who we got? Kathy joining, Aiden, Debbie, Fevi. Hope I said your name right. Gihan, got a few iPhones in the building. Ironda, Kelly, Martin, Nish, Phil, Tanika. It's great to see you. As I'm starting, I am doing this manually. Unfortunately, my assistant is not with me, so I'm gonna have to let people in the room myself. How we doing? How we doing? Welcome. I'm assuming you're here for the Law of Attraction in Business Masterclass. If you're not, you're in the wrong Zoom meeting and you probably need to go and log on another one. But hopefully you're here because of that. My name is Joel McLeod. I am 28 years old and I'm from Manchester. Where are you guys tuning in from? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. On these, we have like Dubai, a lot of people from Canada. Look, Sri Lanka. I love it. Australia. So good. I love it. Portland, Illinois, Wisconsin, Sweden, Lincoln, the UK, Philippines. I love it. London. Okay, great to see you all here. I am, like I said, Joel McLeod. I am top 1% of Bob Proctor's consultants worldwide. So I'm a certified Proctor and Gallagher consultant. Does anyone know Bob? Bob Proctor? Just give me a yes in the chat if you do. You might not. But he was known, he was in the movie, The Secret. Oh, wow. A lot of you know about Bob. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so Bob changed my life. If you would have seen me 3 years ago, I was kind of like a little hood boy. You know, I'd be wearing a tracksuit and da da da. And then I came across Bob. I got mentorship. I turned my yearly income into a monthly income in 5.5 months. I took my children to like Dubai and Disneyland, things that the old me could have only dreamed of, right? And I was so fascinated by the, oh, I've got a fly. I was so fascinated by the material. I thought, oh my God, I've got to go. I can't keep studying this. I've got to go and teach it. Like everyone needs to know what I know, and everyone needs to learn how to apply it. Because have you ever noticed how there's so many people in the manifestation, not industry, but they're into the manifestation material. Like they study it every day. They're always watching things, but like the business is still struggling. They're still broke, right? It's like that's really frustrating. And that was me for like 6 years. You know, I was reading Think and Grow Rich, watching The Secret, writing my goal 1,000 times a day, doing mirror work, visualization. And then my ex-partner was still paying the rent and I couldn't take my kids anywhere. And I was like, it's pissing me off. I want some money, right? So that is a little bit about my journey. More than happy to go into it a little bit later. But what I'm going to show you today is the real way of how to manifest, okay? And I have helped, I mean, countless business owners and entrepreneurs go from struggling in their business to making tens of thousands monthly by using the principles I'm going to share with you today. I had a client message me. When did Jonas message me? He messaged me like 3 days ago. He made 139,000 in a day. Who would like that? He ain't special. You're special. We're all special. Okay? If someone else can do it, then you can do it. Okay? What is your business, by the way? I'd love to know what industry you're in. Let me know. I'd love to know. No one else in the waiting room, right? Cool. Yeah, just pop in the chat. Property management, travel. What else have we got? Digital products. Okay, cool. Health and well-being. That's cool. I actually had an online fitness company myself, commercial cleaning. Amazing. Okay. Also, I'm loving the movement in the chat, right? This is really going to help you. When I'm with my mentor, when I'm studying, I just got back from Scotland. I had a Circle of Excellence day with Bob Proctor's business partner, Sandy Gallagher. And when she was speaking on stage and I'm talking to her, I've just like got my notepad, like I'm writing, I'm engaging, right? Because it's it's a joint enterprise, right? Me and you right now is a partnership. And the next 90 minutes is time for you to work on your business instead of in your business. How many of us got into business for like financial freedom and time freedom, and then 6 months later after building the business, like we're just looking at the laptop all day like this, you know? We ain't got time to eat. We ain't got time to do nothing. We're eating, we're sleeping at the laptop. We're just burning ourselves out and we think this isn't what I signed up for. It's interesting, right? So participate in the chat, and I promise you, the more effort you put into this, the more you're gonna get out of it. Is that a deal? Give me a yes if that's a deal. Beautiful. Okay. Well, I got your end of the bargain. You get my end of the bargain. This is going to be a game changer. Okay. So let's start with something most people don't know how to set and they rarely achieve. Okay. You know, you could walk down the street anywhere in the world and ask people what their goal is, and they'll probably look at you and go, "What do you mean?" And if you ask people, if it's clearly defined, they know exactly what they want, and if they've got it in writing, they'll probably look at you like you're crazy. That's interesting, right? But when we get on a plane, the plane has a destination. It knows where it's going. And 99.9 times it gets to that destination. Now, if I boarded a
Well,
plane, if oops, do you know what? I'm hearing some chit chat, so I'm gonna have to mute this. Is there a way that I can stop that? Maybe. Let me see. Mute. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So if you was to get on a plane, like really think about this. If you was to get on a plane and you was to say, "Hey pilot, where are we going today?" Right? And the pilot turns around and goes, "Well, to be honest, I'm not really sure." Right? We could go to Dubai, we could be going to Florida, or we could go into the middle of the ocean or crash bang into a building, right? There's no way you're getting on that plane because the plane doesn't have a destination. Do you have a goal? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you have a clearly defined goal in writing where you can see it every day. And it's okay if you don't. 97 out of every 100 people do not. Only 3 people do what I do here. Aiden has? Good lad. Not yet. Okay. Anyone else? No. Okay. You're not alone, right? Now, most people set goals the wrong way. And what I'm going to say, if you've never heard this before, you might think, Joel, you're crazy. Okay? If you know how to reach your goal, it's the wrong goal. That might sounds a bit silly, right? If you know how to reach your goal, it's the wrong goal. Now we can sit here and, we can say, a goal is to get the house, it's to build the business, it's to buy the Lambo, buy the Ferrari, go on the holidays. But no, that's not the true purpose of a goal. The real purpose of a goal is to grow. It's to grow as a human being. Now, the byproduct of reaching the goal will be the Lamborghini or whatever you want to do with your money. But that's not the real purpose of a goal. The real purpose of a goal is for you to grow. So you'd have to agree with me. If you already know how to achieve your goal, you're not going to grow. Does that make sense? Okay. When I was broke, I mean, for like 6 years, I was in the modeling industry. And for 6 years, I was making £15,000 a year. I got 2 beautiful children. Esme, that's my daughter, she's 7, and Elijah's my boy, he's 3. Like, I didn't even have enough money for the rent. And then I spoke to one of Bob Proctor's team, a guy called Cam, and he set up a suggestion, and I thought he was nuts. He said, "Look, why don't you focus on turning your yearly income into a monthly income?" And I'm from a council estate. Like in America, you call it the projects. And when he said that, I was thinking, how is that even possible? How does a person make £15,000 a month? That's not possible. That's not possible. You know, yesterday I made £13,000 in 2 hours. But my point is, when I set that goal, and I didn't believe it at first, but when I set the goal to turn my yearly income into a monthly income, do you think I knew how to do it? I didn't know how to do it. I'd never ran a business in my life. I got kicked out of school at 13. I didn't know how to do it. You're not supposed to know how to do it. If you know how to do it, then you've got a plan. You've not got a vision. Okay? Now, we set goals into three categories. You might want to write this down. We have A-type goals, we have B-type goals, and we have C-type goals. I'm using my mic, by the way. Could someone just put in the chat sounds good if you can hear me like loud and clear, just to make sure I'm not speaking to myself. Loud and clear. Perfect. Okay. So we got A-type goals, we've got B-type goals, and we've got C-type goals. Now, an A-type goal is something that you already know how to do. So let's say, for example, your business is already making £10,000 a month, right? And then you set a goal to make £10,000 the next month. That would classify and go under the bracket of an A-type goal simply because you already know how to do it based off your present results, what you're currently doing. Now, a B-type goal is something that you think you can do. This is where most people are. So let's say they're making £10,000 a month and they think if they, work a bit harder, make a few more sales calls, pump a little bit more money into advertisements, that they can make 15,000. So they want to go from 10,000 to £15,000 a month, right? And they've got like this great plan. They've got the plan, they've got it all wrote down, and if everything goes right, this is what I could do. What did I say the real purpose of a goal is? Let me know in the chat. Let's see who knows. To grow, right? So with an A-type goal, we're not going to grow, right? We're not going to grow. We already know how to do it. And there's no inspiration in a B-type goal. And this is where most people are in the business. They set a B-type goal, they get going, they lose motivation, they're not inspired, and then they give up. How many of us have been there? I mean, I'll put my hand up. I've been there. That's a B-type goal. You want to know what a C-type goal is? A C-type goal is what do you want? And I love that. Not what you know how to do, not what you think you can do. If you had all the resources in the world, what is it that you would really want? Now you might sit there and say, you know what, Joel, I don't know what I really want. I don't believe that. I believe everyone within them knows what they want. What I think they're doing is rejecting it before they give it any serious thought because they think it's not possible or wow, that's just too big. I think you do know what you want, but I think you're rejecting it before you actually get emotionally involved with it. Now, when we're dealing with wants, when we're dealing with C-type goals, we have some marvelous higher faculties. I mean, every single one of you on here is so incredible. I don't even think you know how powerful you are. When you're dealing with wants, you're dealing with fantasy. You know, Napoleon Hill, I love this book, Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill says, the imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, most inconceivably powerful force that the world has ever known. So we got to fantasize. You remember when we was children and I don't know, like we'd be in our room with like some toys, but in our mind, like we'd be on stage. You know, we'd be in front of thousands of people. And then what happens when we go to school? Like we've been conditioned from children not to fantasize that. That fantasy is just for little kids. Whose parents said that to them or people in school? He said, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be, a princess. And he said, be realistic. Be realistic. As far as we know, we're the only creature on this planet that can fantasize. We're the only one that can do that. We've been given an imagination. Now look at anything that's been created. The Zoom link that you clicked. This came from someone's fantasy. Where's my phone? This phone, which is like a computer in your pocket, that was someone's C-type goal. Before the iPhone existed, Steve Jobs didn't know how to do that. He fantasized. He used his imagination. So I want to ask you, what do you fantasize? The Wright brothers, who knows about the Wright brothers? They used to fix bicycles and they dreamt that we could do what the birds do. How cool is that? They're the ones that invented the first aeroplane. Their dad was a like a strict Catholic man. And when they told the dad about this dream, imagine there's no plane in the world. This is how big your goals need to be. Imagine there was no plane, like no planes existed. Take yourself to that place, right? And we're in like the 1800s, hunter-gatherer times, whatever. And then one of your friends comes up to you and says, I want to make something that can go in the air like a bird. And it can have like 100, 300 people on it. You would have thought he was insane. You weren't insane. They fantasized. And their dad told them that they're going to burn in hell just for thinking about it. I think we're all grateful for the Wright brothers though, right? I mean, I am. I love to fly. Anything great that was achieved came through the imagination. You see some people and they're so in awe at like a Lamborghini or a beautiful building. They're so in awe. They're like, wow, look at that. That's incredible. Do you know what's more incredible? You. Because the human mind created that. So cool. So I want you to ask yourself, what do you fantasize? Hopefully you've all come prepared. You've got your pen, you got your paper. If you haven't, go and rush and get it now so we can crack on with this amazing exercise. I want you to spend a few minutes writing down what you'd really want. And don't think about how. That ruins the fantasy. The goal of this exercise isn't to think about how you're going to do it. Okay? So I want you to write down a few things that if you could have anything in the world, you would have. This could be an income. Could be a new car. I don't know. Could be a boat. Could be a helicopter. Whatever it is, go into that world of imagination. I love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Pure imagination. I love that song. I actually show that song to my kids because what he speaks about in that song is incredible. And just let yourself go there, right? If that voice comes in, oh, this is ridiculous. How's this going to happen? No, that's not the purpose of this exercise. Just spend a few minutes just writing down, if I could have anything, what would I want? Not what car you can currently afford. What would you want your business to be like? How many sales would you like to be generating a month? Not how many you can generate. Remember, A-type goal. Not how many you think you can generate. Remember, that's a B-type goal. How many you really, really would love to generate. Don't think about where the team's going to come from, where the sales are going to come from, where the leads are going to come from. None of that. Okay? Just write down your wants. Create a shopping list. I love this. Create a shopping list. I always do, right? And what would I really love? Serve the humanity with a purposeful. I love that. Want to have financial and time freedom. Beautiful. Okay, so write these down. Get your notepad out and a pen. Write that down. You want to buy a ranch. I love that. Write that down. How big do you want the ranch? Go into details, okay? And just think about this for a second. Other things might pop in that you put on the back burner for a bit because you've been letting the outside world control the inside. Okay? Well, let's open you up a bit. That's what it's about. I remember when I first done this exercise, I was writing everything I wanted down and it just feels so amazing. But then you get this little voice that says, how, look, forget about the how. I'll show you how. It's easy once you know how. Okay? Now, the first step to the creative process in goal achievement is fantasy. And we've just covered that. Then what we do is we move from the imagination. We have six higher faculties. Okay? One is imagination. So that's the first step. We get totally relaxed. We think about what would I really love? And then we've got to move from imagination to another higher faculty, which is reason. And we start turning this fantasy into a theory. This is where we keep playing with the idea. And then we get emotionally involved with the idea. Okay? But before we can go from fantasy to theory, we've got to, can't get my words out. We've got to ask ourselves two questions. Number one is, am I able to do this? Am I able to do this? You know, there's only two sources of reference that we can go to in the world. One is science, and the other is theology, religion. You know, if we go and ask them, what are human beings capable of doing? You know, they can't tell you. All they can say is that you have infinite potential. That's all they can tell you. You have infinite potential. So whatever you want to do, you can do. You are able to do it. You might not know how to do it, but you're able to do it. Now, the second question is a bit different. The second question is, am I willing to do it? Am I willing to do whatever it takes to cause this image in my mind to manifest in my physical life? And I'd like to know if you're willing. You know, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to become the best business that your industry, whatever industry you're in, has ever seen? Are you ready to really live the life that you really want to be living? For you, your kids, your family, are you willing to do whatever it takes? You know, a baby's got a C-type goal. You see, we're goal-seeking organisms. You ever seen a baby? A baby's goal is to walk. That's a C-type goal. The baby doesn't know it can walk, doesn't think it can walk, but it sees its brothers, it sees its mum, it sees its dad's walking. The baby wants to walk. And what happens? Baby falls down about 1,000,000 times, cuts themselves, falls down the stairs, starts bleeding, bangs the head. Does that baby ever stay down? No, the baby gets back up and it keeps going until it's reached its goal. You know, when we was born in this world, we're goal-seeking organisms. We naturally are willing to do whatever it takes. It's because of toxic paradigms and beliefs and ideas that are fixed in our subconscious mind that we lose that as we grow older through conditioning. Think about Thomas Edison. You know, it's been stated that when he tried creating a light that could run through electricity, that he failed 10,000 times. Would you be willing to fail 10,000 times? He was willing to do whatever it takes. Who knows Kobe Bryant? Kobe Bryant was a famous basketball player. He passed away a few years ago. One of the best basketball players ever. You know, if you go on Google now and you type in who's missed the most shots in basketball, it's Kobe Bryant. But every time he missed, he didn't stop shooting. Okay? This is why you've got to be going after something that you're really in love with. You've got to be going after something that you're obsessed with. You've got to want your goal as much as you wanted to wake up this morning and breathe. Okay? And you've got to be willing to do whatever it takes. Now, when the answer is yes to both of them questions, that's when the first law of the universe, the perpetual transmutation of energy, kicks in. And your subconscious mind starts bringing everything towards you, and you move towards it for the manifestation of what you want. So you get a goal card, you write on the goal card in present tense, I am so happy and grateful now, and you burn it into your mind. And then your goal becomes a fact. So 2 years ago, I turned my yearly income into a monthly income. The goal became a fact. First, I fantasized about it. Didn't really believe it at first. I fantasized about it. Then I started to think about it more. Whoa, could this really happen? Oh, what if it did happen? What would I do with it? I got emotionally involved with it. 5.5 months later, I achieved it. And then that puts you in a position to build bigger and better fantasies. You go on to another goal. We don't achieve a goal and then stop. When most people retire, that's when they die. Okay. So you have your little shopping list, your wants, and this isn't necessarily something that you have to do now, but when you find the thing on the list that you want more than anything, that becomes the goal. That's what's written on the card. That becomes the star that you're shooting at. I've got on the back of mine a beautiful quote from Earl Nightingale. I'll read it. It says, "This is a great dream, this surging dynamic thing, invisible to all the world except to the person who holds it, is responsible for every great advancement of humankind." And this doesn't leave my side. Why? Because a person without a goal is lost. Imagine you woke up this morning and just got in your car and you didn't have a destination. Like, when you come out of your drive, where are you going to go, left or right? I mean, you can't get to a destination if you don't know what the destination is. So you want to get your goal card, write your goal, burn it into your mind, tell yourself, I am able to do this, I am willing to do it, and then go and make it happen. And you carry this loose in your purse, in your pocket. Okay? Now, everything in this universe vibrates. That's the law of vibration. So everything in this universe operates on frequencies. Your goal, the business that you want, the lifestyle that you want, it already exists. It's just on a different frequency. So how do you get on that frequency? Well, you implement what I've just gone over. You fantasize, then you turn the fantasy to a theory. In other words, you start thinking about your goal. You start looking at it from all angles. Wow, what if my business was like this? What if I did have these amazing clients that, just want to work with me and just pay in full and did the work and got phenomenal results? What if I did have that? And the more you fantasize over it, you turn it into a theory, you get emotionally involved with it. Now, anything that we're emotionally involved with changes our behavior. You know, if you're emotionally involved with a bad idea, then your behavior changes. This is vital. This is vital. Okay? By looking at your goal card throughout the day, you're tuning into the frequency of it. And that's when you start moving towards your goal and your goal starts moving towards you. That is the law of attraction. Okay. Now, what you want to do is you want to take 3 to 6 goal achieving. You want to take 3 to 6 goal. Can't get my words out. You want to take 3 to 6 action steps every single day that will move you towards your goal. Every single one of you on here right now, you know there's something in your business that would propel it forward, and you're not doing it. It's because you're not programmed to do it. Okay. We're going to dive into that soon. All right. The only thing that needs to change for you to 10x your income within the next 6 months is your thinking. This changes your thinking. It disrupts the old paradigm. We think in pictures. When I'm in the gym, I've got my goal card in my pocket. Every time my hand touches my pocket, I get a picture of my goal. And we become what we think about. We can look at Christianity. We can look at Islam. We look at all the wise men, all the philosophers, Buddha. I mean, you name it. Going back years, you know, they all disagreed on pretty much everything apart from one thing. And the one thing is we become what we think about. What is it you're thinking about? Are you thinking about nightmare clients? Are you thinking about people, you know, not buying your services? Well, don't blame the outside world because your thoughts are attracting that to you. I attract the most incredible clients ever. Money just loves me. Why? Because I think that. I've conditioned myself to think that. So you've got to create a version of you that already makes 10,000 a month, already makes 20,000 a month, 30,000 a month, 1 million a month, whatever you want. You got to create that version of you. And we call this your self-image. That's the way that you see yourself. And your outer image is always an expression of the inner image. You know, when you see someone that's confident, you feel it. Well, they've got a confident image of themselves inside. You can never outperform your self-image. You know, your self-image is like a thermostat. It's literally set. So I want you to think about the amount of money you've earned over the past 5 years. Unless you've shifted the paradigm, I can pretty much guarantee it's going to be the same year after year. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. You ever notice that your bank account never moves above a certain amount or below a certain amount? Well, that's your financial thermostat. It's your self-image. If your self-image is set to £100,000 a year and you get off to a really good start, you make £50,000 in January. You know, your self-image will pick up the deviation, and over the next 11 months of the year, you'll only make £50,000, even though in January you made 50,000. A great example of this is people that win the lottery. If someone wins the lottery and they've got a poverty consciousness, they've got a poor self-image, let me know in the chat what happens to most people that win the lottery. They end up rather dead, broke, on drugs, or on alcohol, or on something, right? The money goes. Why? Self-image. But let's look at it the other way around. Let's look at a successful businesswoman. She makes £1 million a month. She's got a confident self-image. She sees herself as productive, prosperous. She sees herself as a leader. You know, you could take everything off her. You could shut down her business. You could, take all the connections away from her. Leave her with nothing. You know, in a short period of time, she'll have it all back. Self-image. Very interesting, right? So you want to create a version of you that already makes 10 times the amount of money that you make right now. Already does 10 times the amount of business. And I want you to think about that person. Go back to your pen and your paper and just write down in present tense that version of you as if it was you right now. How does that version of you think? How do they think around sales? How do they think around their product? How do they think about money? How do they feel? How do they act? How does that version of you dress? Okay. So start it with I am so happy and grateful now that. And go into detail. What type of places does that version of you go? How do they look at problems? What is their perception like? Who are the people that that version of you spends time with? Do they procrastinate or are they decision makers? Do they get stuff done? Are they unmotivated or are they focused? Are they driven? Are they inspiring? Okay. I mean, I wish I would have brought a picture of what I used to look like. Like I built so much of Bob Proctor into my image. So much. Like I heard Bob say once, he said, when you walk in a building, you want to look like you own the building. I thought, I love that. I love that. So you can recreate yourself. Okay. Has everyone got a good few sentences? If you need more time, just let me know in the chat. But you want to start writing down, are you a decision maker? Are people inspired by your presence? Do people feel your belief? Do people feel your conviction? What happens when you walk in a room? How often do you, take time to yourself, go to a spa? What type of restaurants does this version of you go to? Okay. Now remember, same thing with goals. All we're doing here is fantasizing. But I'll show you the process. You see, most people, they think you get the money, then you become successful. That's what most people think. The truth is that money can only come once you're successful. Okay? And this is the same thing that I teach my clients, All my clients, they have to repeat their self-image script 4 times every single day. Every single day. And I want you to do the same thing. If you do exactly what I've just said, it will be an absolute game changer. I've been reading the same page of Think and Grow Rich for days. And I want you to pay attention to it because what we're doing when we do this is we're doing something called auto suggestion. And suggestion is the most powerful force in the universe. Now, it's a well-known fact, if we tell ourselves a lie over and over again, we start to believe that it's the truth. Now, Hill says, he's talking about a guy called Barnes who went into business with Thomas Edison. And he says Barnes not only had the desire that he would get what he wanted, before he went into Edison's office, he had at length pictured himself working with and being of essential service to him. He knew it would happen. Yet Napoleon Hill realized that most people do not naturally have such faith. So they're at a disadvantage as a result. Enter auto-suggestion, which I've just suggested you guys do. It says, here comes auto-suggestion, which is the process by which we affirm to ourselves via a daily spoken mantra charged with emotion the person we wish to become. Over time, these affirmations settle into the subconscious mind with the weight of fact, whether or not we initially believe them. Mere thoughts become convictions. Faith is the feeling of relaxed inevitability that something will come to pass. Yet through autosuggestion, a process validated by today's cognitive behavioral therapy, we can engineer this powerful state at will. Write out a description of that person that you want to be. Listen, record yourself saying it. I've done mine twice today. I'm not the type of leader that done. This is how I got where I am. I ain't never gonna stop doing it. Because if we tell ourselves a lie over and over again, we start to believe that it's true. Now, Napoleon Hill's got a full chapter on auto-suggestion. Now, remember when I said before that the only thing that needs to change for you to 10x your income is your thinking. Listen to this. Auto-suggestion, the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. Auto-suggestion is a term which applies to all suggestions and all self-administered stimuli which reaches one's mind through the five senses. Stated in another way, auto-suggestion is self-suggestion. It is the agency of communication between that part of the mind where conscious thought takes place and that which serves as a seat of action for the subconscious mind. Through the dominating thoughts that you allow to remain in your conscious mind, whether these thoughts be negative or positive is immaterial. The principle of autosuggestion voluntarily reaches the subconscious mind and influences it with these thoughts. No thought, whether it be negative or positive, can enter the subconscious mind without the aid of the principle of autosuggestion. All sense impressions, which are perceived through the five senses, are stopped by our conscious thinking mind and may be either passed on to our subconscious mind or rejected at will. Now, nature has so built man and women that they have absolute control over the material which reaches their subconscious mind through their five senses. Although this is not meant to be construed as a statement that we always exercise this control. In the great majority of instances, we don't, which explains why so many people go through life in poverty. Now, recall what has been said about the subconscious mind resembling a fertile garden spot in which weeds will grow in abundance if the seeds of more desirable crops are not sown therein. Auto-suggestion, remember, gold card, auto-suggestion, self-image script, auto-suggestion, okay? Where was I? Okay, yeah, resembling a fertile garden spot in which weeds will grow in abundance if the seeds of more desirable crops are not sown therein. Auto-suggestion is the agency of control through which an individual may voluntarily feed his subconscious mind on thoughts of a creative nature or by neglect permit thoughts of a destructive nature to find their way into this rich garden of the mind. I mean, this book is incredible. Now it says your subconscious mind recognizes and acts only upon thoughts that have been well mixed with emotion or feeling. Plain unemotional words do not influence the subconscious mind. You will get no appreciable results until you learn to reach your subconscious mind with thoughts or spoken words which have been well emotionalized with belief. Do not become discouraged if you cannot control and direct your emotions the first time you try to do so. Remember, there is no such possibility as something for nothing. Ability to reach and influence your subconscious mind has its price, and you must pay that price. You cannot cheat, even if you desire to do so. The price of ability to influence your subconscious mind is everlasting persistence in applying the principles described here. You cannot develop the desired ability for a lower price. You and you alone, must decide whether or not the reward for which you are striving, which is the money consciousness, is worth the price that you must pay for it in effort. Wisdom and cleverness alone will not attract and retain money, except in a few very rare instances where the law of averages favors the attraction of money through these sources. Powerful stuff. What did I say? If you tell yourself a lie over and over again, you start to believe that it's the truth. Has this been helping? Are you fired up? Because I'm fired up. You know, this lets you know that you are capable of absolutely everything. And if you don't believe it right now, that's okay. Borrow my belief. Believe that I believe you can do it. Because I know you can do it. All it takes is 90 days, 180 days to be a completely different person. Napoleon Hill says it. He says, when money comes in what's known as the big money, it comes so fast and in such large quantities that you wonder where it's been hiding all of those broke years. And I think, you know what? That is so true. That is so true. Now, it's not about hard work. In fact, the hardest workers in the world are broke. Doesn't matter how hard you work. It's about tuning in to a different frequency. If you want to attract different results, you've got to tune into a different frequency. Most people are wanting to hear FM radio, but they're tuned in to AM music. It's just not going to work. Same with our goals. You know, if I would have sent you the wrong Zoom link in the email that I sent you to attend the masterclass, then no matter how many times you bang your keyboard or bang your phone, I mean, you're not going to be able to get on this Zoom, because what is that Zoom link? It's just a frequency. Same way, when you ring your friend, you don't expect to hear one of your parents or your uncle. No, your uncle's phone number is a different frequency. You press it, you tune into that frequency. Well, that version of you that has got more sales flying at them than they even know what to do with is right there right now. It's on its frequency. You know, all the money there ever was and ever will be already exists. You just got to tap into the frequency of it. How do you tap into the frequency of it? Well, you got to change your paradigm. Okay? Your paradigm is just lots of ideas and beliefs that are fixed inside your subconscious mind. And you'll know where your paradigm, you'll know where your program right now. Just take a good, honest look at your results. The law of attraction decrees that we can only attract what we are in harmonious vibration with. Your results right now, I want you to think about your bank account. I want you to think about how much money's come into your bank account over the past 4 weeks. Right now, that's what you're in harmony with. That is the law. To change that, you've got to change your paradigm. Your paradigm is that section of your subconscious mind that stores your habits. It controls 95% of your habitual behavior. And almost all of our behavior is habitual. You can literally make making money a habit. Making money is just a habit for me. Going to the gym is a habit. When you wake up in the morning, think about your partner or the person that you live with. Soon as they wake up, they have a routine. It's autopilot. You've got to disrupt your habitual way of thinking. You got to rewire your subconscious mind and make it believe that you're already that person. You're already a successful entrepreneur. You are a leader. You've got to convince your subconscious mind that that is the case. Why? Because your subconscious mind controls your vibration. And it's the vibration that your body's in that is dictating what you attract. Most people don't get honest with themselves. We've got to take a good, honest look at our results. Are they what we want? This is something Bob drilled into me. Like when I have a call with someone, the first thing I ask them is how much they're currently earning. Because, I mean, I don't care how much they're earning, but I want to know where they're programmed. Now, unfortunately, when a lot of us were children, we had these beliefs about money. What's one of the like most, what's, put it in the chat. What's like a belief that you heard growing up about money? I mean, there's a good few of them, right? There's a good few of them. Do you know what I used to hear a lot? Give me a yes in the chat if you can relate. I always used to hear that money is hard to earn. Money is hard to earn. Yeah, you got to work hard for it. That was one I heard a lot. And I don't even work hard anymore. Like I love what I do. When I was broke, like I used to work hard. I used to have a pedal bike and I used to I'm not sure if you have it in the US and Australia, but in the UK we have Uber Eats. I used to be in the pissing down rain in Manchester, England on a pedal bike delivering Uber Eats for like 8 hours a day for like a poxy £400 a week. I was working really hard. No. Napoleon Hill says money comes from a state of mind, definiteness of purpose, which is knowing exactly what you want, and with little or no hard work. Like earning money is a game. And like any game, we can get really good at it. You see, the only way to earn money is to be of service. Okay? We exchange our money for a service or product that we believe is valuable and useful. Christian Dior get a lot of money off me because I like the ties, right? But why do I give Christian Dior money? Because I find some people won't, but I like their clothes. I love the material. So I exchange my money in return for one of their products or services. This is why I'm here with you today. I've got a goal. I am going to become the best consultant that Bob Proctor's company has ever seen. That's why I'm here with you today, helping you. Like the only way that I'm going to reach the goal is to provide more service. Remember that your income will always be in direct proportion to the service that you render. You don't even need to focus on the money. It's got to give it you all. You got to give it your all. Go and help people. There's people out there right now that will benefit so much from your products. You got to help people. I got brought up like I was a hustler, and I got brought up with the mindset of I got to be a go-getter. Like I don't want to be a go-getter. I want to be a go-giver. That's a universal law, the law of receiving. There's a great story about this couple that moved to a new neighborhood. And once they moved in a few weeks later, the husband seen that the wife was quite unhappy. So he said, love, why are you unhappy? She went, I don't really like the neighborhood. And she went, well, and the husband said, well, have you tried smiling or engaging with, any of the ladies on the estate? And the lady said, No, because none of them have tried smiling and engaging with me. That's what most people are doing. Like, if you want to smile at someone, you got to give to receive. Now, when you give, it doesn't necessarily have to come back from the person that you give it to or you helped, but it has to come back from the universe. For that is the law. This is not Bob Proctor made this up, Joel McLeod made this up. We're talking about universal principles, universal laws, the same principles that keep us floating in the middle of the universe on this little blue and green ball. We have to surrender to these laws because we didn't create them. All we can do is work in harmony with them. And that's one of them, the law of receiving. So when we hear these beliefs when we're younger around money, around, we got to work harder, money's the root of all evil. No, it's not. Sometimes we've just got to hold these beliefs up and think, is that true? Money's the root of all evil. Money's hard to earn. What else? Let me see in the chat. Yeah, you have to do a whole bunch of stuff you don't want to finally get the money. Become smart to use the money in a sensible way. Money was a topic that was taboo in my household. Yeah, look, it's taboo in loads of households. It's taboo. People get uncomfortable when you start speaking about money. I love money. I think money's wonderful. You know, the moment that you stop seeing money as evil and you start seeing money as wonderful, you'll have a better circulation in your life. Do you know why I think money's wonderful? Because my children have got a nice, warm, cozy bed to sleep in tonight. They've got pillows. They've got clean water. They're in a warm home. They've got food in the belly. None of that would be possible without money. Is that evil? My children eating? Your children eating? You go in nice places with your family, treating them? Is that evil? No. So money is not the root of all evil. There's many people that are absolutely broke that are evil. And then you will get people with money that are evil. Money doesn't do anything but amplify who you already are. Like if you're like a bad person when you've not got money, then when you've got money, you're going to be a terrible person because it's an amplifier. Whereas if you're like a good person without money, then you're going to be an amazing person with money. Am I opening your eyes? Give me a yes in the chat. Am I breaking down some of these beliefs for you guys? It's not true. We can do so much good with money. Money can only do two things. Can only do two things. Number one, it can make you more comfortable. That's number one. It can make you more comfortable. Number two is it can extend the good that you do far beyond your own presence. That's what I'm doing right now. I put a little bit of money onto Eventbrite ads. That money allowed me to extend the good to serve you. You can build schools. You can give back. You can do all of these amazing things with money. Now, can you do evil things with money? Yeah, but you can do evil things with electricity. It's the law of opposites, right? You can't have an up without a down. You can't have a left without a right. You can't have a hot without a cold. There wouldn't be an inside of this room if there wasn't an outside of this room. So there's a negative to everything and there's a positive to everything. Just like electricity can do so many good things, but also if you use it wrongly, it'll kill you. The positive to having a nice hot bath is your muscles feel nice and relaxed. The negative is like it could scold you, heat. So there's a positive and negative to everything. Okay, don't listen to these people. Like it's always people with no money that say this as well. You can't get along in this world without money. How are your children going to eat? How are you going to eat? Okay. And me personally, my personal opinion, I think that having no money is a sin. Now, hear me out. Do you remember when I said before that we get money in exchange for the service that we give to others? Yeah? You remember that, right? Okay. So if someone has got no money, that means that they're not serving their fellow human beings. To me, that's a sin. I love serving you guys. I want to see every single one of you win. To do that, the paradigm's got to change. You can do your research. The subconscious mind controls 95% of our thoughts, emotions, actions, and decisions. If the paradigm doesn't change, guys, the results are the same year after year. Okay? Now, there's only two ways to change it: your subconscious mind, your paradigm. The first is through an emotional impact. So let's say something like COVID-19 or 9/11, their emotional impacts. They cause a big shift in whoever was around, involved in that person's paradigm, their subconscious mind. But with emotional impacts, they're usually negative. They're not always, but they're always out of our control. So a positive one would be, I was saying this on a call with a client the other day, a positive one would be, let's say if a woman or a young girl got told at an early age that she couldn't conceive of a child, and then when she got older, she found out she was pregnant. Like that would be a positive emotional impact, but it's still out of our control, and that's not the way that you want your paradigm to be changed. Now, what I would suggest is grab a pen and paper and write what I'm about to say next down, because when you get it, I mean, it's going to be the game changer for you. Put in the chat ready when you've got your pen and paper. Where's the chat gone? Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, beautiful. So the second and most effective way to change a paradigm is through the constant spaced repetition of new ideas over and over again, combined with the help of an experienced mentor. Okay? So the way your paradigm was formed, these beliefs that are controlling your life, they was formed through repetition. So I'll give you an example. You are not your name. Your name is just an idea that when you was younger, your parents implanted in your subconscious mind. But they didn't just say your name once. Like by the time you was 2 years old, you probably heard your name a million times until it became fixed in the part of the mind that controls our vibration, which is our subconscious mind. So it's through the constant spaced repetition of new ideas over and over again, combined with the help of an experienced mentor. And this is why mentorship is so important to your success as well. It's not just a transfer of the information and knowledge. If you're on this, you probably already know about the law of attraction. You probably already know what to do, but you're not doing it. It's because information and knowledge goes into our conscious mind. I'll show you the stick person in a minute as well. If you know about Bob, if you don't, you're gonna want to stay around because that's a game changer. Okay. Information and knowledge alone is not going to change your results. The only thing that's going to change your results is accountability and implementation. That's what's going to, you can turn your yearly income into a monthly income in the next 6 months. But it's only going to be done with accountability and implementation. You know, I was studying this on my own. I probably came across, I'm 28 now. Yeah, Austin, constant spaced out. So I came across Think and Grow Rich. I'm 28 now, so I probably came across this when I was about 20. And I think I found Bob on YouTube when I was about 20 as well. And you know, the Secret, what else was he? Anything else? Yeah, The Secret. And I was studying, I was reading Think and Grow Rich. You know, I even had a goal card. I was saying affirmations. I was doing it all. And for 6 years, my income did not change. Didn't change. But for them years, like when people reached out saying, look, like we can help you, I'd be like, no, I know it all. Like I've got the books. I'm like, I've got YouTube. Like I'm fine. Leave me alone. Right. So it got to the 6th year and I'm thinking, it's been 6 years and my income's not changed. I'm clearly missing something. So when I started working with Bob and his team, I actually wasn't working with Bob Proctor at the time. I was a mentee. But his team, they made it quite clear to me that it was going to be impossible for me to change my results from my level of awareness. So they wanted me to see myself from their level of awareness if I was going to change my results. 5.5 months later, I turned my yearly income into a monthly income. The results were that crazy that I had to shut down the business and go and work with Bob. I felt this thing just, I can't explain it. I felt this fire inside of me. Just, I wanted people to get what I've experienced. I wanted them to live the way I'd been living because of this material. And then I've gone on to make, 5 figures in an hour, $50,000 in a month, all through this material. Like, this works. I don't think this works. I know this works. There's a big difference between knowledge and experience, right? Like, if we read a book all the way through, like, yeah, we've got knowledge on it. But when you've done it, when you've had the results, then you've got the experience. And within 16 months, I've worked my way up to being top 1% of Bob Proctor's consultants worldwide. And there's probably over, well, I could be paraphrasing, but there could be close to 10,000 consultants, at least a few thousand. And I'm not speaking about my story to impress you. I'm just trying to let you know and transfer to you that if someone like me can do this, then you can do this. Like I grew up with nothing. I was broke. I used to hustle on the streets. Every 2 weeks, I used to go to prison to see my father. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where you are. In the next 6 months, you could be in an absolutely completely different place. Now let's bring the stick person in, right? Who's seen this before? Let me see how many of you know. Put yes in the chat. Anthony's not. No? Okay, can I bring it out a bit? Might have to go back a bit. Okay, Debbie's seen it. Okay, so everything we're speaking about here is the mind, right? We've just been speaking about the mind. But if we're going to fix the mind, if we're going to fix the inside, then we need an image to work with. But when most people think of the mind, they get a picture of the brain. But your mind isn't your brain. You ever thought about that? Your mind isn't your brain. Okay. If I was to come and cut you open right now and start looking in your body, I wouldn't find your mind and I wouldn't find your soul. Mind is an activity. Okay. So this gives you an image of you to work with. So I want you to imagine that this is you. Now, this big circle represents your mind, and this little circle represents your body. Now, with the mind, to keep it simple, we're going to split it into two parts. The top half is your conscious mind. The bottom half is your subconscious mind. And like I said, this is your body, right? So let's really break this down so you understand you. Your conscious mind, bring my microphone over. Here we go. Can you guys see okay? Give me yes, because I'm quite far back. I just want you to get the whole image. Your top half of this big circle is your conscious mind, okay? Now, your conscious mind is the mind that you think with. So when you're listening to me now for this past hour, it's gone really fast, by the way, hasn't it? When you listening to me, all of the information that I'm telling you is going into this part of your mind, your thinking mind. So in other words, you know, like we're 24/7, we've got that voice in our head that's speaking, right? Everyone has that, by the way. You're not crazy. Okay? That's your conscious mind. That's your thinking mind. Now, hooked up to your conscious mind, you've got these little five things. And these are what? These are your senses. So you can see, you can hear, you can smell, you can taste, and you can touch. Okay? Now, as long as we live in our physical body, we need these five senses to operate with our outside world. Okay? Now, our conscious mind can accept and reject information. It can rather accept or it can reject. If you see a Facebook post that says your industry is going to be a bad month for your industry, I mean, you can accept it or you can reject it. You can say, no, it's going to be an amazing month for me. Okay, so we can reject or accept with our conscious mind. Now, our subconscious mind is a lot different. Conscious mind is what we think with. Subconscious mind is what we feel with. Okay? And this is your attitude. Your thoughts cause feelings. Your feelings cause actions. And your actions are producing your results right now. So your thoughts around your business are causing feelings around your business. Those feelings are producing actions around your business, which are causing the results in your business right now. Okay? A little bit more on the subconscious mind though, because this is the key. Okay? Your subconscious mind cannot reject. It has to accept. So when we was a baby, we didn't have a conscious mind. All we had was a subconscious mind. And any idea, belief that our parent had, or anyone that was around us when we was younger, we couldn't reject it. It went straight in to our subconscious mind. And what did I say about the subconscious mind? It believes anything. So my son Elijah is free. Right now, he doesn't have a conscious mind. Okay? Now, we've told him from being a baby that Santa Claus comes from the North Pole, flies in the sky with lots of reindeers, and drops presents down the chimney. Now, because we've told that my son believes it. Why? Because he can't reject it. His subconscious mind's wide open. He must accept it. This is not just valuable for your business. This is valuable for your children as well. Okay? So when you was a baby, up to the age of 7, what was going on around you? You know, I speak to some people that are 60, 62, and they're still carrying beliefs from when they was younger. And it's not them. It's just we've been programmed that way, right? So Your subconscious mind controls your vibration. And it's the vibration that your body's in that is controlling what you attract. So what have we got to do? We've got to stop using our senses to look at our present results. We've got to go back to our goal. We've got to fantasize about our goal in our conscious mind. We think about it. The more we think about it, we're going to get emotionally involved with it. Okay? We get emotionally involved with it. We pass it over to our subconscious mind. It alters our vibration and our behavior. Our behavior moves us towards it, but the vibration we're on brings it towards us as well. I mean, this is fascinating. And I'd love to support you guys. You know, just before this call, I opened up a few slots on my calendar for one-to-one calls. Okay. Now, on this call, I will show you exactly how to get from where you are to where you want to be, and I'll show you the subconscious blocks that are keeping you stuck. Okay. Now, if you're watching and you kind of like, I'm interested in seeing huge results in your business and life in the next 6 months. I'm interested, then I mean, don't book the call. Like it's not for you, okay? But if you are really serious and committed to making a massive quantum leap within the next 6 months, then go and book a call now. The spaces are limited and it's a first come, first serve basis. But what I can do is I'll put my calendar link in the chat. There we go. It's going to take like 60 seconds. I would grab one because there's quite a few people on this Zoom already. So I'd grab one, and then once you've done, just put in the chat, done. Okay? Beautiful. Now, where was I? Okay. It's really that simple. We've got to change your subconscious mind and make it believe that you're already that person. Because when your subconscious mind believes that you already make £1 million a year, you're on the same vibration as £1 million a year. You know, all you've got to do is stay on that vibration and you will attract everything that you need. It works like magic. Now, for business owners, especially, well, with anyone, you've got to have an incredible attitude. You've got to have a bulletproof attitude and you've got to learn how to make decisions as well. That's an important one. The biggest chapter in Think and Grow Rich is actually on decision making. Like if you're building a team or that's what you want to do, like would you want to be led by someone that's always asking other people like what should I do? What should I do? I don't ask no one what I should do. I'm a leader. I make decisions for myself, decision making. Napoleon Hill said that all successful people make decisions fast and they change them very slowly if they change them at all. And he said the people that fail to accumulate money, they make decisions slow and they change those decisions very fast. Got to have a bulletproof attitude. Okay? Got to have an amazing attitude. Got to have the type of attitude that when problems arise in your business, that's good and we get it fixed. But what is our attitude? Well, we've got to go back to the stick person. Your attitude is made up of three things. It's your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. That is your attitude. You know, when you see someone and they've got a bad attitude, or we like, oh, they've got a bad attitude. Well, we know that person is having bad thoughts, which is causing bad feelings, setting up a bad vibration, causing bad actions, which is producing bad results. Whereas if you've got fantastic thoughts, you're going to have fantastic feelings, sets up a fantastic vibration. When you're on a fantastic vibration, all you can attract to you is fantastic things. I know great things are going to happen for me today because I'm on that vibration and you attract it with ease. It works like magic. Works like absolute magic. Has this been helpful? Ah, Debbie got a call. Lucky you. Good, good. I would really encourage you. Like I said, if you're not really committed, and you kind of like just interested in, building a business or whatever, like don't book a call, don't waste time on my calendar, please. But if you are really serious, then go and grab one of them. These master classes, they're like showers. It's like you got to take one every day, right? What you want is a proven system from a person who has studied paradigms and the subconscious mind for over 50 years. You want a proven system to follow that will guarantee you results. And I think you know that I believe you can do anything. I know you can. If you was actually committed to being coachable and just doing what I tell you to do for the next 6 months, I mean, your life would never be the same again. I have helped so many people, struggling in business. My client Peter, he he's an architect, and when he came to me, he had a business, but he was in business with two business partners that he didn't want to be in business with anymore, and they was making decisions that he didn't necessarily want, right? So when he came to me, he had a lot of fear about setting up his own architect company and going out on his own. Within 6 weeks of being mentored by me and Bob, I'll send you the link, Anthony. I'm not sure if there's going to be space, but you're more than welcome to have a look. After 6 months of being mentored, sorry, 6 weeks, he made £20,000 in his. Wait, first of all, he set up his business on his own. Second, within 6 weeks, he generated £20,000 in new revenue. He just messaged me about a week ago to let me know that he's just made his first £40,000 in 1 month. That's in 1 month. What would you do with £40,000 a month? Peter's no different. I'm no different. Bob's no different. And that's what Bob spent his life doing. Just showing you how amazing you are. But you've got to be serious. You've got to be committed and you've got to be all in. You got to want it as much as you want to breathe. You can tell I've got my goal, right? You feel the fire. Like you want to wake up in the morning and get excited like I'm working towards my goal. I'm grateful for you guys. I've really enjoyed this. It's been incredible. Look, you could have been anywhere and you're with me. And I'm pretty sure yous are all glad that you came. But look, one thing that I know, I understand these universal principles enough to understand that this universe is an orderly universe. Everything happens by law, not coincidence. And coincidence is just another way of spelling God. So for some reason, I've attracted you. You've attracted me. It's been a very powerful session. What I'll do is I will send the recording out. Listen, spread it. Share this recording with someone. People need this material. Half of the population are sat there watching the news, watching negative things. They need stuff like this. Show them it. Watch the recording over and over and over again. Remember, it's the constant spaced repetition that's going to change the paradigm with help. Okay? I'm going to send that email out and thank you. Okay? Bye bye.